Hi, this is Wendy Gunn, and I'm talking to you about the theme, one of my favorites, of goals. Not just goals, but achieving goals. Setting goals you'll accomplish. I am, as I've said, a recovering procrastinating perfectionist. And for years, I had unfinished projects laying around all over. I started but didn't finish. I had big dreams, but I didn't accomplish them. You could not count on me, basically. And that is not somebody I wanted to be, not something I wanted to be true of my life. But God had a plan, and He worked through trials a lot. I had a thought that I was going to be able to raise my children differently so that they could basically stand on my shoulders and they wouldn't have to go through any of the hardships or things that I had gone through. Not realizing that God uses trials to transformation. Trials to transformation, that's His theme. He uses trials to transform you and me. And it was when I was in my 40s, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer 21 years ago. And I came through that. God did I'm a walking miracle, you might say. You can read my story, my cancer story on my blog, but I'm a walking miracle, and God wasn't done with me yet. He had things He wanted to do in me and through me. Thankfully, I'm grateful, really grateful. But one of the things that happened because of that trial, huge trial, is that it made me realize that I am unique. I had been copying and comparing and coveting other people's lives, my friends especially, thinking if I just copy this person and how they parent, and if I just copy this person and how they do this, I'm good. I'm going to be, yeah. Well, I have news for you. Even if you could perfectly copy them and do what they do in all these different areas, do you know what? You would miss completely the purpose that God has for you. Just totally miss it. Because God made you uniquely. He created you one of a kind. And He's writing a story in your life and through your life. When I got cancer, ovarian cancer, it woke me up. My story is now changed forever. It's changed forever. That is what God is doing. He hopefully won't have to give you cancer or allow you to go through cancer to make you realize that. He made you one of a kind, and each of your children and your spouse. One of a kind. Even if you're all living in the same house in the same family, you're all experiencing a different story and a different life. So when I had cancer, God showed me that I had a different life and a different story. He also made me very much more dedicated to being healthier. Before cancer, I was very obese. Very. At one time, I was, let me think, about 90 pounds heavier than I am today. And after I had cancer, the year after, I lost 50 pounds. And I also learned, well, when you achieve a goal like that, when you set a big goal, and especially what I call a besetting sin goal. When you set a goal to overcome a besetting sin, that's what I call that. It's the goal, what I think of as the sin in your life that triggers and affects everything else in your life. And if you can just change that, if you can just stop sinning in that area, it affects everything else in your life. That's what losing weight was for me. So I lost 50 pounds the year after I had had cancer. I also, so how old was I? I was 47 at that time. I have since lost weight after the age of, I have to stop and think, at the age of 60. It doesn't matter how old you are. And also, there are different ways to lose weight. So I lost weight one way then, but I was very focused, because it had been life and death to me very recently. When you go through a life and death situation, and then you say, no, I'm not going to do this. This is how I'm going to live, and no, you're not going to change my mind. People listen, and you can be more disciplined and determined. So I lost 50 pounds. And when I achieved success in a goal that was related to my besetting sin, but just a goal that was big, do you know what that does to you? That strengthens your faith in God. It just skyrockets your faith in God. And that's what it did for me.